make it a little bit easier for you. So hopefully you can see me. If I fall into shadow or the contrast gets a bit much, let me know. If you need me to show off anything particular, let me know. We'll just keep working around things. So we're just going to start with a bit of a warm up. So give yourself a bit of space. Just going to start with the head, and all we're going to be doing is from shoulder through to the other shoulder. We're just letting the back of that neck and the side of the neck really stretch out. So don't really need to rush on this one. Just give it a chance to really elongate the neck in each of those directions. And just stop loosening it up. And coming to center, just bring your hands behind your head. So I'm linking them behind my head. I'm going to pull my arms, my elbows back. That's going to open up my chest. And from here, just as I breathe out, I'm going to face one side. I'm getting the spinal rotation. As I breathe in, I'll come back to center. Breathe out, go to the other side. In, come back to center. So just stretch it as far as you feel comfortable and safe to do so. But just keep pulling back those shoulder blades, those elbows. So you really open up that chest area. Right, coming back to center, I'm going to do some shoulder rolls, make them nice and big, really extend it in each direction so you feel that nice, juicy loosening up of the rotators. And we're going to come forward. I'm going to give our hips a little bit of a circle, so feet a bit wide, and just a nice deep circle in each direction. Don't worry if you can't get sort of a full forward and back motion on that. That'll just depend on how tight your hips and your hamstrings are. But the more you can open up at the front, the more you open the flexors, the more you can back, the more you get a bit of a hamstring stretch out of it. So really just trying to elongate that movement in every direction. And then coming back the other way. All right, we're going to come and have a look at our knees. So feet together, all we're doing is just a gentle bend of the knees, just warming them up. Just go as deep as you feel comfortable again. This is just loosening up that joint, so you don't want to take the strings too quickly. You should be feeling a little bit of the back of your calves as well. All right, and do a couple of ankle circles. So nicely showing off my ankles here. We'll just rotate in one direction. Again, you can take it slow and really push it as far as you can in each point. And then coming back the other way. And the other side. The nice thing about these ones is it gets you to work on your balance as well. So pulling up through that supporting leg, helping stabilize you. Coming the other way. I'll do a little bit of a quad and a hamstring. So both feet pointing in one direction, turn your hips to face them, both legs straight, heels on the ground. I'm going to bend the front knee, trying to keep that heel at the back on the floor. You get a nice deep hamstring stretch. Then gently come back through the center, straighten both legs. As we come back, raise the front toes and bend the back knee. So getting a bit of a quad workout on the back leg and a bit of a hamstring in the front. Rotate back through center, the front, the center, and back, center, and front, center, and back. We're going to change the legs. You can either turn around or just swap them over, whichever you like. Straight legs, heels on the ground, hips facing forward, kneel forward, keep the heel on the ground, come back to center, rotate the front foot back. Center, kneel forward, center, pull back. Center, kneel forward, center, pull back. All right, just shake it all out. The fingers loosen up, the wrists loosen up, give the shoulders and the neck a bit of a roll. Alrighty, so as I mentioned before, this session we're going to be looking at a lot of our basics. So we're going to spend a bit of time on Kihon, just making sure we've got all of our basic footwork and cuts down. Maybe do uchidachi. Certainly I want to do Happoburi, which is that 8-cut pattern that we worked on. Then we're going to try and look at our kata. So kata 1 through 5, which we have looked at. And don't worry, I will talk you through all of them. But we're going to try and do them as the shikata, so the attacker, for all 5. And then do it as the receiver for all 5. The idea behind this is when you're doing a grading, normally whatever kata you're going to do, you stay as the attacker or the receiver role until you finish the set, and then you change roles. This is a good way to start thinking about them in order and getting used to those. And then if we've got a little bit of time, we'll do a bit of waza as well. Don't forget to hydrate when you need it, and let me know if there's anything you want to go over. So, grabbing your weapon, whatever you happen to have today, we're just going to work through our base Kihon. We're starting off with our footwork. So, first of all, we're just going to check from our shizentai position. Come forward a little bit so you can see a little bit more clearly. So, pulling up through the body, left hand, fingers closed, just resting against the thigh. The right hand, the wrist is on your hip, so you need to feel your hip bone, just there, and loosely wrapped around the Naginata. And the base of the weapon, depending on the length of what you've got, between, kind of creating a little triangle with the toes on your right foot, quite close into the body. So it's really not far out from where your body is. All right, so this is Shizentai. So, red. Shura no kumai, so left hand on top, step forward with the left foot. Check your position, so your back elbow is at the back of the weapon. Your hands are just outside shoulder width, and then your right hand is sitting where your leg and your groin meet. So we're just going to start with our footwork. Ayumi ashi, mai, so right foot over, 2, 3, 4. Ayumi ashi, ato, ni, san, chi. So focus on making sure that your hips aren't rotating around to the front as you walk. Ayumi ashi, mai. Ayumi ashi, ato. Sugi ashi. So this is where we bring the back foot in and then do an aggression. Sugi ashi, mai. Sugi ashi, mai. Sugi ashi, ato. Sugi ashi, ato. Sugi ashi, mai. Sugi ashi, mai. Sugi ashi, ato. Sugi ashi, ato. Okori ashi. So this is just the single step. Okori ashi, mai. 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 Okori ashi, ato. 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 Mai. Mai. Ato. Ato. Mai. Ato. Good. We're going to face front view here so you can see a little bit better what's going on. We're going to do haraki ashi, which is the rotating step. So we're going to start with migi, which is right hand. Migi ni haraki. Migi ni haraki. Going to the left. Hidari ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki. Migi ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki. Migi ni haraki. Migi ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki. Good. We're going to try a combination of these. Don't worry if you mess them up. It does take a while to get used to what each of them is. As long as best as you can. Ayumi ashi, mai. Sugi ashi, ato. Okore ashi, ato. Ato. Sugi ashi, mai. Sugi ashi, mai. Ayumi ashi, ato. Ayumi ashi, mai. Okore ashi, ato. 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 Migi ni haraki. Migi ni haraki. Okore ashi, mai. Okore ashi, ato. Sugi ashi, ato. Haraki ni, hidari ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki. Sugi ashi, ato. Sugi ashi, ato. Ayumi ashi, mai. Migi ni haraki. Migi ni haraki. Okore ashi, ato. Mai. Ato. Ato. Mai. So hopefully you managed to catch most of those. It does take a while because the commands, if you can't hear them clearly, can get a little bit lost. And remembering which is Afu and Mai can better get a bit confusing. But that's why we have a recording, so you can always come back and try that one again. That's the basic footwork done. We're going to look at our basic cuts. So we start with the first handle, which is Furiagate Men. So starting in your Chudan position. Remembering we're going to keep everything in an alignment. So if you are my partner, I'm facing side onto you. My first step through, I face directly towards you. And then on my final strike, my body will turn to face the side again. In terms of the handwork, the hands stay where they are as they come up over the head. As the weapon comes down, let your left hand slide forward on the Naginata so you can alter the height. And then when you've reached the height you want, squeeze with your tnuch, so lock that wrist, lock that hand, tighten around it, and that is going to stop your motion. All right, so Furiagate, Meno with it, Mem, and then Sugiesh back. Furiagate, Meno with it, Mem, Meno with it, Mem, Meno with it, Mem. We're going to do this for Snail now. So remember, the only difference with Snail is that you might have a slightly steeper step. You're going to kneel in with the front foot. You're going to let your body stay where it was, so don't let it tip over. Your back hand now is going to raise up from the low part of your groin up into the middle of your body. So the weapon ends up sitting between your arm and your body. So, Furiagate, Snail with it, Snip, and Sugesh. Furiagate, Snail with it, Snip, Sugesh. Furiagate, Snail with it, Snip. Furiagate, Snail with it, Snip. Good. We're going to go into our hustle or our sokumen cuts. So remembering with our hustle, we come from Chudan, the back hand will slide up to meet the front hand. And then as the back hand reaches up towards the ear, the front hand's going to go to your hip. So you end up in this nice open position, pull your shoulder blades back, pull the weapon against your body. Make sure it's sitting a little bit out. So when it's on your hip, that's going to pull it out in an angle, which is good because otherwise you're in danger of hitting yourself in the head. From here, the hand on your hip as you step through is going to come up and sit in the center of your sternum, just below where your rib cage starts. So, mem. And your front hand is going to most likely release a little bit, slide up a tiny bit before you do the tilt. And then this is just about getting the height. So, Shironokume, Sokumeno would say, so we come to hustle. Mem. Sugiesh back. Sokumeno would say. Mem. Sokumeno with it. Mem. Sokumeno with it. Mem. We're going to do a double cut, so sayu, so one on each side. So we don't come to Chudan in between. Sayu, meno with it. Mem. Mem. Sayu, meno with it. Mem. Mem. Good. We're going to do sayu, or we're going to do hustle snake now. So same thing. It's a combination of your Furiagate men and your Furiagate snake and your hustle cut. Once you're done, snail there, so we come into hustle and bring it down. So our backhand is now again just underneath the sternum with the weapon between our arm and our body. So yes, snail with it, snip, so yes, snail with it, snip, snail with it, snip. We're going to do sayu, so 2 cuts, 1 on each side. We don't go to 2 down in between. Sayu, snail with it, Snip, snip. Sayu, snail with it. Snip, snip. One more time. Sayu, snail with it. Snip, snip. Good. All right, we're going to go into furikaeshi. So this is going to be furikaeshi men. Remembering with this one, what's happening is the blade at the front is coming down behind your body. You're rotating to face the front, and then you step through a bit like a furiagate attack. So, Chudan, furikaeshi, meno ute, let it drop behind you. Bring your right hand to your left, face the front. Left hand slides through, met. Back to Chudan. Now we're on the opposite side. So, furikaeshi, meno ute, let it drop down behind you. Bring your left hand to your right. Fly your right hand over the top and bring your right hand down the weapon to your attack. Do this from the side. Meno ute. So let it drop. Bring your right hand to your left. Face the front. Left hand pulls down the weapon. Furikaeshi. Meno ute. Left hand meets the right. Turn to face the front. Right hand slides down. Met. We're going to try this on both sides. This is going to be a sayu, furikaeshi. So, sayu, furikaeshi, meno ute. Let your right hand meet your left, turn face the front. Left hand pulls down. Left hand meets the right as he comes behind you. Right hand pulls down. Good. We'll do that again. Sayu, furikaeshi, meno ute. Rotate to face the front. Bring your right hand to your left. Left hand pulls down. Rotate your body to the front. Left hand meets right. Right hand pulls down. Once more. Sayu, furikaeshi, meno ute. Right hand to left, face the front. Left hand pulls down. Left hand meets the right, turn to face the front. Right hand pulls down. All right. We're going to look at do. So we did do a few weeks ago. Just reiteration, we're going to start in Shudan. We're going to go into Waki Nogamai. So your right hand is going to be your left. And your left hand slides down as you rotate the weapon over. You need basically a fist lift between your hands and your thighs. Let your arms drop down so it's long and extended. And as we turn 180 degrees, we're going to move this left hand from the outside of the leg up to where the leg meets the groin. That's going to go however it goes. Let it rotate over that leg as well, and that'll help get you power. So, go with this. Straight from the other side. So, go and do this on the other kamae. Waki no kamae. So bring the left hand up to the right. Let it change over as the right hand slides down. Just put on each side. Going to roll over the right hip now, and the right hand is going to come in where your thigh meets your groin. Go with this. Go. And again, waki no kamae. Right hand to left hand down on the outside. Going to roll over left hip. Go with this. Go. And sugesh back. Waki no kamae. Left hand meets right hand comes down on the outside of the thigh. Going to roll over the right hip. Do with it. Do. Good. I'm not going to ask you to do sayudo because most people don't have room for sayudo. We're going to look at kote, which we did last week. So just as a refresher, kote is coming to attack the wrist of your opponent, and that's actually extended in front of you. For in Shudan, you don't have to, sorry about the lighting, you don't have to step as far because the kote is a little bit closer to you. So we're not doing the big step of a furiagate men. Instead, what happens is this back hip rotates. So we come up onto the ball of the foot on our right foot as we rotate around, and then we do a little step. So come up a bit like you're doing furiagate. It doesn't come as far, so it's a lot higher. Your front hand is around about the height of your forehead. So I've rotated my hip, and as I push up on this right foot, I'm going to bring my weapon down just below Shudan position. So it's a little bit lower as if you're cutting through the wrist. Come back to Shudan no kamae. We turn our body, we rotate up, not too hard. We're going to push off from the right foot and bring our weapon down slightly below Shudan. To make that happen, you're going to have to release from Shudan position, and that left hand is going to slide in a little bit closer. Not too far, because otherwise it's right down, but just bring it down lower than your chura no kamae. Try and do this from front onto you. So, kote o ute, I rotate up. Kote. Sugeashi. Kote o ute, rotate not too high. Kote. Kote o ute, rotate. Kote. One more. Kote o ute, rotate. Kote. Good. So that's basically all of the cutting techniques. The only else that we haven't done is ski, and that's a thrust to throat or to door. We do that in some of the kata, but we're not going to practice the norotsuki. It's a lot harder when you don't have the real weapon for the shaping and which way to turn it. So rather than get bad habits now. Do either of you have any questions or issues or anything you want me to go over again, or grab a drink?
With the wrist cuts,
Okay.
I'm just having some trouble with the footwork, like pushing off the right and sort of where I end up.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can show you a bit better. So basically, we're just giving ourselves a little bit of forward momentum. It's one of the reasons we're not stepping through. So if I start in Shudan, all I'm really doing is I rotate this hip and I come up onto the ball of the foot. So my heel rotates around to the back. So both my feet are facing forward. So that's what's happening. This is actually what we do in furikaeshi as well, is that rotation, so everything's forward. So even just practicing that chura no kamae, rotate that hip and let the back heel come up so that you can face forward. So that's the first part of the kote foot movement. So here, and then from here, I want you to put a little bit of weight on the ball of the foot on the right foot and just push through. So it's a bit like an okuriashi in a way. So even if you have both feet facing forward, the back foot has the heel up, you've got pressing into the ground with the ball of the foot. Just think about pushing yourself forward. So onto the back, onto the ball of the foot, push. It's a bit like a hop, but you're already unbalanced. So you rotate around, push. Take around, push. Rotate, weight on that ball, push. And this is kind of what we use for our other footwork as well. It doesn't feel quite like that sometimes, but that's how you're powering a lot of your movements. You're using the pressure off the ball of the foot on the back foot, if you're moving forward, to help drive you. So when we're doing okuriashi, it's this back leg that's moving us forward. When we're doing our sugiashi, we bring it in and then use that to push us forward. So it's really just about generating the power off that that pointed foot. So I'm going to try and move because I can tell the lighting here currently really, really awful for you guys. I'm going to try and find a better balance and hopefully it will stop shifting shades quite so much. I'm not sure if I can win on this one. Okay. From my perspective, it looks really terrible. I'm just trying to make sure I don't go into a sort of shadow too much. Is this better than the other position or worse?
It's pretty much the same. You know, we can, at least I can see it pretty well.
Okay, all right. So does that kind of answer your question? A little bit about where that movement's coming, or do you want me to try and break it down in a different way?
No, that answered it. That answered it very well, thank you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So yeah, it's basically, we're trying to be efficient with our movement. And that's one of the nice things about Naginata. You don't have to be strong to be effective. We're about leveraging movement, especially with a weapon like this, and using the least power to generate that effect. So being able to push off from the, that little power point on the foot, really, really good. You are going to get big calves if you do it enough. The nice thing with Naginata is you can work on both sides. You end up with much more even calves and thighs than you do in some of the other sides. All right, going down. Alrighty, so we've done our basic cuts, we've done our basic footwork. We're going to go over Happoburi. So Happoburi was that 8-part combination that we ran through a while ago. So it sort of duplicates a lot of our basic technique, but in a much more breathy, open fashion. So it's a little bit more, I guess, dance routine. It should have a bit more flair. It's showing off that you have these beautiful techniques. So I'm going to do this on the side because otherwise I'm going to hit things. So we start with a jogaburi, which is we bring a back leg in, we step both feet together, and we bring the weapon up, as if we're doing Kuriagatumen. As we come back, we bend both knees, and we stop when our left hand meets our left thigh. So both knees bend. The back knee is probably pointing a little bit more forward or to the side of that. Push off from that back foot, come up, and comes down. So breathe out as you come up, and as you come down. So these ones are a chance for you to catch your breath, focus on the technique. Try and make sure your weapon is moving directly up and down. So you're moving your hip out of the way of it rather than moving it around your body. It does make a bit more sense with a longer weapon. But if you had a line straight in front of you or someone standing straight in front of you, you're trying to cut right down through their center the whole way. So this is Jogaburi. We're going to go into Nanamaburi, which is a diagonal cut. It's very similar to the hasta, but it goes all the way from the top down to the ankle. So we come up into hasta. And what we're going to do is we bring our right foot forward as we extend forward, get down to the floor. Don't let it touch the floor, so it's about 15 centimeters off. Then we come up into hasta, and we bring our left foot forward as we slice through. So you're trying to make this smooth and even. So my backhand, the top hand, is up high in the hasta. As it comes down, I'm going to let it drop closer in towards me, so it slides smoothly forward. It means I just have to adjust when I come back to the hasta again. So extend it through. If you keep your knees soft through all of this, you'll notice that your head won't bob up and down because you'll be absorbing the movement and keeping that same kind of ceiling height of your body. So these are really good for working on your hand changeovers, which is a fairly common technique in Naginata. And the smoother you can get it, the better things will work for you. So just take your time with these kinds of cuts. So this is Nanamaburi. Naname meaning diagonal. All right. We're going to go into Yokoburi, which is like our door cut. So from this, we do come into walking. We keep our arms long and relaxed. We're trying to keep our weapon level. Unlike a door, all we're doing as we turn 180 degrees is bringing our elbows and our hands up evenly. So you don't want to tilt. You want it to stay even the whole way. A bit like it's on an elevator. Coming up, it's going down. Coming up, it's going down. That's all your arms are doing. Your legs are just moving 180 degrees. So bring it up. Then come back into Waki no Gamai. Step through, bring your arms up. So in this one, what we really should ideally doing is bring the feet together and then changing position. So left foot front, right foot back. Now right foot front, left foot back. This is a Yokoburi. As I said, it's emulating our dog. Okay, we're going to go into Nanamaburi Shipokara. This also starts in Waki no Gamai. So it's like the Nanamaburi, the diagonal cut, but Shipokara means from below. So we're doing it in reverse. So from Waki no Gamai, we instead, as we bring our right foot through, we drop the weapon down and then bring it up. So your right hand, if you started with the left foot forward, right hand back, the right hand's going to slide up the Naginata to create that angle. Then we change, go into Waki no Gamai. Got my right hand forward now. So my left hand is going to let the weapon drop, and then it's going to reach up the Naginata as I come through. So we're just creating that same long diagonal cut from each side. Just a couple more. So after Nanamaburi Shipokara, the next one is Furikayashi Snail. So normally you finish with your left hand in front, your left hip forward, the weapon up. So to do this, you're going to bring your left foot back to right, behind your back. So your feet are together, your left hand comes down, and you do snail. Now, you're going to push off the right foot to do the same thing on the other side. Push back, left hand meets the right, step forward with left foot, snail. Step back, and step forward. Step back, and step forward. Push back, and step forward. Push back, and step forward. I'm just going to show you from the side. Step back, and foot forward. Push back, and foot forward. So I tend to use this forward motion, this kneeling, as a good way to power my movement back. So if I bend my front leg, I can push back to straight, and then I can let my weight pull me forward. Now my front foot push back and forward. This is a good way to generate you back up into a more upright. Just do a couple more. Okay, good. All right. Now, do either of you have any questions about any of those techniques before we try and put them all together? No? Maybe?
I'm happy to give it a go. I mean, it seems like something that, you know, repetition, you get used to it and it'll make it a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't worry if things go wrong. That's pretty normal. Especially that last transition from Nanamaburi Shipokara to Furikayashi Snail, that's actually the hardest transition out of the lot. So I am going to slow it at the transition points. We're going to do 4 over each cut, which means for most part, apart from the Furiagate, you're going to get 2 on each side. So we start in Churan no Kamae. We're going to do Jogoburi. So we're going to step forward, ich, forward, ni, forward, san. This is our last one, and we're going to go into hasta. So here, we step up the hustle. Nanamaburi, so bring it forward in that nice long diagonal. 2. This is our second last one. From this one, we're going to flip the weapon over into Wakinogamae. I'm going to go Yokoburi. So raise it up evenly. Wakinogamae. Raise it up evenly. Wakinogamae. Raise it up. Last one. We are going to go back to Wakinogamae again. Wakinogamae. Nanamaburi Shipokara. So step forward, bring the weapon up. Change over. Step forward, bring the weapon up. Waki. Step forward, bring the weapon up. Wakinogamae. Step forward, bring the weapon up. From here, we're going to bring our left foot back as the weapon drops behind our left. Furikayashi Snail. Push the right foot back. Left hand or right hand. Push back left foot. Snail. Push back. Snail. All right, good. So that's the full round of Happoburi, chaining together those particular cuts. So it does require you to be focusing on your cuts, on the transitions, on keeping everything even. So it's a lot in one exercise. So it's a really good one just to get the movements and start to loosen up a bit. And also just to focus on your breathing and timing. So yeah, don't worry if that one was a little bit tricky in areas. That's pretty normal. All right, we've got about 20 minutes left. So what I would like to do is work through our kata. So bearing that in mind, I am going to shift that this way. As I said before, we're going to try and do this in kind of a grading format. So we're going to do kata 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I am going to walk through each of them because some of those are less familiar to all of you. So we're going to add to the attack. So in all of these, we are the junior. We're going to start in Shura no Kamae. The first kata is Furiagate men, Hasso Snail. So from Churan, we step through Furiagate men, right? Hasso, Snail. We wait, they attack our men. We push off from our right foot to bring it back to our left. bring our hands together. We step forward with our left foot and left hand. Now we're back in Shudan. We're going to walk back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. We're going to do each kata twice. This is Ippon men, number 1, against the Furiagate men. Men, hasto snake, snake. We wait. They attack our men. We step back to change our hands and step forward to move into Shuranokomai. We walk back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. And I can see Kaylin's just doing this, so I am going to get into the room. That's all good. We're going to do Nihonme now. So kata number 2 is the reverse. Furiagate sne, hasto men. So step forward, Furiagate sne, hasto men. We wait. They step back and then cut in for our snake. We step back to our left foot, bring our hands together. We step forward with our left, back to Shura. We walk backwards. We'll do number 2 again. This is Nihonme. So Furiagate snake, ne, hasto men, men. We wait. They do their cut. We step back, bring our hands together. We step forward to the left foot, come back to Shudan, and they walk us back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. Sanbonme. This is the first of our do cuts. Shuranokomai, waki no gomai, so bring the hands together, bring the weapon over. We're going to step through and do do. They've blocked us. They're going to give us a harai, so it's going to push our weapon back. We're going to do furikaeshi men. Men. We're going to wait there. They're going to knock our weapon over to our left, and they're going to cut our head. They've walked back. We move our weapon back to our center, and we retreat 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. We're going to do that again. So, sanbonme, waki no gomai, do. They give us a harai, and we do furikaeshi men. So rotate around, furikaeshi men. From here, they knock our weapon out to our left. They step through and cut men. They step back. We bring our weapon back to center, and we walk back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. Yohonme, number 4. This was the new one we learned last week. So don't worry if you need a little bit of catch up with this. We're going to go into hastonokomai, and we're going to cut the snake. But as soon as we've done the snake cut, we're going to step back and block men. So snake, push off the right foot and pull the weapon in to defend your head. You're then going to pull the weapon down to your right, rotating off the left hip to give them a harai, at which point they cut our men. They step back, we step back, bring our hands together, and then step forward into Chudan. We don't walk anywhere with them. I'm going to do this one facing you a little bit so you can see a bit better. So, Yohonme, we come into hustle. We cut a snake, we push off the right foot, pull the weapon in, and block men. We're going to harai to our right, which opens us up, and they attack our men. They walk back, we step back, bring our hands together, step forward into Chudan. That's number 4. Number 5, Gohome. This is like number 3, just a different finish. We go into Waki no Gomai. We cut do. They give us that same harai. We do furikaeshi men. The difference here is they're going to knock our weapon to our left. That opens up our door. They're going to strike do, step back. We'll bring our weapon underneath to meet theirs. They're going to walk us back 5 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. And again, waki no gomai, do. They give us a harai. We go furikaeshi men. Men. We wait. They knock our weapon out to our left. They strike our door. They retreat back, and then we both come back to mine. We're going to take 4 steps back. Ich, ni, san, shi. Good. So that was the first 5 kata, 1 through 5, all as the shidachi or the junior role. How'd we all go? Thumbs up, thumbs down, bit middling. Yeah, excellent. Good stuff. All right, now here comes the hard part. We're going to do the uchi roll. So this is about receiving and then responding. Ippon me. So remembering, we've just done Ippomen before. Kuriagate men, hustle snake. So we're now thinking about the blocks. Kuriagate men, we pull back, step back, and block men. They're going to go for our leg. We're going to turn, block, snake. From here, we're going to step out to our left, pulling our weapon up into hustle. Their head is open. We're going to step forward and go hustle men. We're going to take 2 steps back, but as we do so, immediately bring your weapon down to Chudan position, knee. They're going to step back, come back to Chudan, and we walk them. So we walk forward 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. So that we're back where we started. I will try and do this in one direction rather than turning it back this time. So, ippomme, uchiro. They're going kuriagate men. We pull the weapon back and block them. They're going for snake. We turn and block snake. We step out to our left and back, pulling the weapon to hustle. We step forward to do hustle men. We take 2 steps back, drop into Chudan, ich, ni. They come to Chudan. We walk forward 4 steps. Ich, ni, san. That's ippomme. Nihome. This is the reversal. So, kuriagate snake, hustle men. Starting from Chudan. They're going for our snake, so we're going to pull back, bring our right hand up into together. Coming for our head, we're going to turn 180 degrees and just turn around so that this is now blocking our head. Men. We step out to our left again, pulling our weapon up into hustle. Snake is now open, so we're going to go hustle snake. We're going to go back 2 steps, pulling back Chudan on the first step. They come back to meet us in Chudan. We walk forward 4 steps to bring us back to the center. Ich, ni, san, shi. That's nihome. We'll do it one more time. So they're coming for kuriagate snare. We pull back, block snare. They're coming for men. We turn and block men. We're going to step out to our left, bring our weapon up to hustle. We're going to step through and do hustle snare. 2 steps back. Ich, ni. They come to Chudan. We walk them back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. That was nihome. Sanbome, uchiro. So this is where they're starting to go for the door. So they come to the door. We pull back with the right hand as we step back. Keep our weapon, our blade lowered at our door. We're going to give them a harai. So our left hand's going to slide in as we rotate the right hip. Harai. Step back. They're coming for men. We step back and block men. This being number 3, we're going to do makuya toshi. I'm going to show you from the front. Use your right hand fingers, little finger up through thumb, rotating one at a time to turn your weapon over, and then harai. That's your makuya. Rotate, harai. You're going to step forward, pulling your weapon through your right hand. Kuriagate men. 2 steps back. Ich, ni. They'll come back to Chudan, and we'll walk them 4 steps. Ich, ni, san. I'll try again to do this on one plane. So they're coming for do. We pull with our right hand, door block. We step back as we harai. We step back as we block then. We rotate our fingers, and then we step back as we makuya toshi. We're going to pull the weapon through with our left hand, through our right hand as we step forward. Kuriagate, left. 2 steps back, ich, ni. They come to Chudan. We walk forward 4 steps. Ich, ni, san. That was number 3. Number 4. Okay, and again, this is going to be new for some of you. So full explanation and good luck with this one. So they're coming for a really deep snake cut. We're just going to avoid. So our left leg is going to pull back to our right as we turn to face their body. So literally step back, bring the left foot back. And our hands are going to come up into a kuriagate position. So it's a bit like doing kuriagate men prep, but your foot is coming back. You're taking your leg out of the way. So step back and block, step forward, do men. They're going to give you a harai. It's going to be a harai to your left. The weapon's going to pull behind you. You're going to turn to face them. Kuriagate men. 2 steps back, ich, ni. Now we're in the wrong kamae. So both of us, we step back, bring our hands together, step forward to the left foot into Chudan. and we don't walk anywhere. Because hopefully we've done this all in the same spot. That's your home. We're going to do that once more. They're coming in for hustle snake. We rotate to our left foot back. Step through for furiagate men. They harai, we do furikayashi. Then 2 steps back, come to churan, ich, ni. Bring your right foot back as your left hand comes to center. Step forward with your left foot to churan. That's your home. Go home. Number 5. So this is the second set of do attacks. Go forward here so you can see a bit better. Same as number 3, really. They come for do, we pull back and block do. We step back and harai. We step back and block men. This time, however, we're going to do an otoshi. So I'm going to face the front here. We're rolling it over the center of our body and bringing the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top. So rotate as we step through, and that just opens them up. So rotate, roll it across the belly, bring it forward. From here, take one little step back as you bring your left arm up and your right arm down. And then you're going to step forward with the right foot and thrust to do. That's a very high do. 2 steps back, coming to churan, wak ich, ni. Bring the weapon over as you step through with the left foot. And then you walk them back to center for 4 steps. So ich, ni, san, shi. So that's your kohome. Always mixing up those numbers. So again, starting in churan, we're going to defend against the door block. So pull back with right hand. We're going to step back and harai. We're going to step back and block men. And this time we're going to roll it over the belly, bring it up and hit them with the back end of the weapon. Pull back 1 step, bring your left arm up. Kuriash forward and thrust at feet. Just come back 2 steps, bring the weapon back to wakinogame. Step through the left foot, bring the left hand over and back to churan. And then you walk them 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. Good job. You've just done both sets of kata, uchi and shidachi, in order. How are you feeling? Good? Good?
Yeah.
Good. It's not easy, especially when you don't have a partner for feedback. So just working through the patterns, that's a fantastic start. And gradually they'll start, you won't need reminders of what they are. You'll know what they are. But for now, I think it helps if I can at least give you a vocal representation of what the hell is going on. Do any of you have any questions about any of the kata, either side of it? No? All pretty good? All right. Okay, in that case, we've got about 10 minutes. Grab a quick drink. And I'm going to get us to do a little bit of waza, just so you've got some practice at hitting things that aren't in the pattern. So we'll start with a basic one, just to get our heads and our bodies into it. So this is going to be the men block and our response. So I'm going to make a men attack. I'm going to do furiagate men. When you see me attack or you feel you have time, you're going to come from churan, bring your left foot back, lock men, and then you're going to step out to your left and strike hustle snake. So this is about having a nice strong black block and then a nice fast attack. Okay. So I'm just going to, sorry about that, Kaylin. I'm just going to mute yours because we're getting a little bit of wind blow back on there. Nothing against you, I promise. So just pulling back nice and strong, squeeze through the body, squeeze through the butt, through the core, nice and tight, lock it there. Remember what you're aiming for is this position here. So your elbows are about just below shoulder height, and you don't want your arms in towards the head. You want them out to get this kind of nice 90-degree angle with your arms and your forearms. That's going to be a nice, strong position to defend it. So whenever you see my attack come down, so when I'm up at back, when you think if I was there, you'd be able to block it. Hajime. Mem. 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 Last one. Mem. second variant, blocking with Ascendant Maki block. So as I come to men, you block by pulling back. Now from here, I'm going to give you a couple of options. So you can harai. If you harai to your left, you could then throw the weapon out and do men. That's a new one that we haven't done before. Alternatively, from here, you can step in 180 degrees and hit my snake with the butt of your Naginata. So feel free to play with each of those. Kaylin, you know a lot of these responses to NS, so you can make up something else if you want to try something new. I trust you with that, fortunately. So 2 choices, pull back and then harai and come over for men, or pull back, step through and go for snake. So just play around with them. You can try both, either or. I'm going to do a hustle cut just because it would make more sense for this block. Men. And shudo. And don't be afraid to try this on from the other kamae as well, whichever one you like. Men. 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 We'll do a few more. Men. Men. Okay. We're going to go for some Snail Attack. So I'm going to give you some options again. I'm going to be doing hustle Snail towards you from either side. So you've got a few options. You can lock, and then you can go from here and go up and over for men. You can bring it down, go for snake. What else could you do? You could harai, coming around 180 degrees and come over for men. Again, if I'm coming for snake, you could have chosen to block with the other end and then step back over for men. If I'm coming for snake, you could just pull back like we did in number 4 and come for men. So feel free to change this one up a little bit. Try something completely new to you, something that I haven't suggested if it feels natural to you. Just see what happens. Again, this is mostly about blocking when you see my attack and coming up with a response. All right, here we go. Set. Split. 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 Also, don't worry if it doesn't work the way you think it will. It's as good to learn from what doesn't work as what does. Keep going. Split. 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 Good. All right. So this next exercise is going to be a little bit more freestyle. I'm going to grab a drink. Feel free to grab one if you need. So in this one, I'm actually going to make 2 attacks, and I'm not telling you what they are. This is something that we do when you're a little bit more comfortable with these kind of techniques. Normally we start you off with armor when we're doing these techniques. But because I can't literally hit you or hurt you, this is a good opportunity for you to start trying to see what my body's doing. Normally what I would do is try and make sure I'm not giving anything away with my eyes or my body. This time I'm going to be more lax, so you can hopefully get a few more triggers, especially over Zoom, it's a bit harder. What I want you to try and do is try and block or avoid both attacks. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong, that's fine. And then make an attack. And I don't mean what attack you do. So it's really going to depend on how you've decided to defend yourself or avoid. So everyone's going to be doing something different. This is just a good chance to try out different techniques and to try and see if you can guess where I'm going to attack and how to respond. So we're going to start in shooter. I'm going to make 2 attacks and then you're going to do a response of some kind, whatever it is. And again, don't worry if it doesn't work. Mem. Net. Mem. Mem. Oh. Mim. Ne. Mim. 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 Ne. 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 Mim. Ne. Mim. Ne. Ne. Mim. Good. Have a bit of a breath. How are we going? How'd we go? Yes, no. These ones are always difficult. It doesn't matter how used to you're doing. If you read something wrong, you're not gonna block correctly, or you've got mistake the attack. That's normal. And what you're trying to do as the attacker is actually give false signals or give no signals whatsoever. So this is a good way of just starting to practice going, okay, what are they doing? And again, on Zoom, you're going to miss a lot of those tricks that you would normally. So if you've even managed to block one of them, that's great. As long as you've tried to respond, that's all we're asking. Because honestly, when I do this in face-to-face, I've got as good a chance of screwing that up as anyone else, because split-second decisions, you can misread the situation. So sometimes it's just about being willing to respond and then follow it up and not letting it seize you. I know a lot of people tend to find that sometimes the hardest part is not knowing what's happening. That, you know, oh, what are they going to hit? What are they going to hit? And then what am I going to do? Can be quite anxiety driven in some regards. And at least with this, where, you know, you're not physically getting attacked, you know, there's no danger, you've got a bit more of a breather to just create your reaction. So don't stress. These ones are kind of just for you to loosen up and start taking what we've learned and turning it into something a bit more natural. All right, so we've hit the 12 o'clock mark and my laptop is telling me it wants to run down on power as well. So I am going to call the session for a moment. It was a really good job from all of you. Good to see you all. How do we all go? Anything you found problematic or anything you'd like to see again?
I think it was more some of the defensive moves have less attacking ones after it, I guess, and working out which one defensive move to use so you've got something to attack with afterwards without having to wind up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's pretty natural. It's like, oh, what do I do now? And part of it is because we've been teaching you very formalized techniques, which are the basic Kihon. When we get to things like shiai or waza, you can loosen up the move so you don't have to do the full position, but it's learning how you do those. So don't stress about that too much. But it does take a while before it becomes quite natural to just react. As I said, this is really just giving you a taste of it so you can start loosening up and feeling how it might. So yeah, don't stress too much on it.
It was awesome though. Thank you.
Good. How about you, Tom? How'd you go?
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. Again, it's just sort of that feeling of, you know, oh, very new to it, very, you know, oh, kind of here, oh, my hand's in the wrong place, oh, feet are wrong.
That's okay. And I mean, look, that's really natural. It takes a while before things feel comfortable and before you don't have to check everything. And it's a lot harder for you guys because you're learning this remotely. You know, you're not standing in front of us where we can kind of try and correct your technique and really work on those little things that each of you all have going on. So just getting the general feel and the motion, that's great. We can correct technique after. So don't stress yourself out too much about that either. You're doing really well just to even be able to move in these patterns. And, you know, not hit yourself in the head, which is always possible with something this long. How you doing, Kaylin? Bit windy down there?
Oopsie, I just realized I was muted. Yeah, it is windy. Yeah.
Oh, good. So something I've been talking about on the email, and I just mentioned it before we start the session. Sorry, just before we start the session. If we do have a 15K crossover zone, and feel free to email me or I am happy to try and set up some one-on-ones. And for that,
Yeah.
I'll actually nip into the dojo and grab some real Naginata, because that's now in my 15K zone. So yeah, depending on schedules, depending on time, depending on availability, I am happy to try and work that in as well. But with any like roadmap, we should hopefully be back in the dojo around the start of November. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm just going to end the recording. So
Yep, that's fine.